Hi there, Mickey Mankus here with Out the Back Door. Today I want to show you how to preserve eggs without refrigeration. So join me. What you will need in order to preserve these eggs without refrigeration, we're going to call this water glassing. And you need farm fresh eggs that have not been washed. The reasoning we don't want them washed is because when a chicken lays an egg, there's a protective coating on the outside of the shell, and it's called a bloom. This bloom actually protects, if there's a fertile egg inside of there that will be turning into a chick, that protects from bacteria getting in while it's developing. So we do not want to wash that bloom off. But the next step we're going to take is we're going to be adding calcium hydroxide, also known as lime. Don't mistake this for gardening lime. This is different. It's also called hydrated lime. You can buy this in the canning section of the stores if you're pickling. You actually put this in your solution when you pickle, say, cucumbers in order to give a crispness to your pickles. It is consumable. I buy it at the hardware store in 50-pound bags. You go to the masonry department and you'll find it there. Same thing, both bags, except the big bag costs a lot less. You're paying for the name here. I'm going to measure out my hydrated lime. And I'm going to be doing this by weight, not by volume. So I'm going to need 1 ounce of hydrated lime per 1 quart of water. Now that I have that measured out, here's my quart of water. And I'm just going to add that in. Now I'm going to give it a stir. As I mentioned earlier, this is consumable, but I have heard of some people with very sensitive skin. If they put their hands in here, it may irritate them. So if you'd like to do this process with latex or nitrile gloves, rubber gloves or whatever, that's fine also. It doesn't bother my hand. Once I have this mixed up really well, it kind of looks like a chalk water. I actually did these eggs a couple of days ago, and I thought, hey, I bet you'd like to learn how to do this also. So I'm going to add a few more eggs to my little container here. That's why I made a new batch of the hydrated lime water. And all you're going to do is initially, if you're starting this, you make this mixture and you're going to pour it into your container that you're going to store your eggs in. Usually I just do it in an ice cream bucket. So you'll pour this in. And next you'll start placing your eggs in here. You want them fairly clean. You don't want them full of poop or sawdust. Sawdust you can brush off, but if they've got anything else on them, you probably want to set them aside and use them earlier. You just gently set them in. And then I just place a cover on them. Normally I store these in my basement. It's dry down there, it's dark down there and cool. So this is an excellent place to be storing them. I can also store them on my countertop. It's not a big deal. I used to do 5-gallon buckets full of them, and I would leave them on the floor up in the kitchen here, and then as I needed them, I'd pull them out. To me, I decided it was easier putting them into like a 1-gallon bucket, and I would do a few of those instead, so I'd have extra eggs on hand. So this is the way I'm going to store these right now. I'm just going to set these aside because I want to show you water glassed eggs that I did last year. I did these in September and October of 2019. I'm not joking. These are going on close to a year old. These eggs, when I have put them into the hydrated lime water, had an extra coating put on around them besides the natural bloom that's there. And that's what's keeping everything out from penetrating in and spoiling the inside of the egg. I'm going to make up a couple of these eggs right now. I'm going to have to wash them first. Water glassing eggs has been around for an extremely long time. When the chickens were really laying a lot of eggs and they weren't able to sell most of them off, or they just had that many of them that they couldn't eat that fast, this is an excellent way to store. And as I mentioned, when the chickens are starting to molt, they really slow down on their laying of their eggs. So now you've got your egg supply. Now that they're all washed and everything, I'm going to crack them open. One thing about the older eggs, I have found that the yolks don't always stay whole when I crack them. They do deteriorate a little bit. But overall, I've had pretty good luck with them. What I usually use the water glassed eggs for is when I'm baking or using scrambled eggs. And I'm going to make some scrambled eggs with these. That one's all together. And that yolk is whole also. So maybe it is possible. I have not tried to make like hard-boiled eggs, hard-cooked eggs out of these. But being that the yolk is staying intact and everything, I think I might give that a try. The color is a beautiful gold. All right, now I want to try these eggs that are almost a year old and were not refrigerated. Seriously. These taste like I had just got them from the farmer. These are wonderful. I'm not joking. They're light, fluffy, full of flavor. They honestly taste like I had just got them from the farmer. One thing I want to mention about when I was cracking the shells, don't throw your shells away. There's different ways you can use them. If you missed my video on the salsa garden almost freezing, check that out because I showed you how to use eggshells in the garden. They make a great fertilizer. You can put them in the compost. Also, what I have heard, but I haven't done personally because I don't have chickens yet, is grinding them up. You let them dry really well and then grind them up, and then you can feed them back to the chickens to add extra calcium so that the shells are a lot harder. I know some people are concerned about that because they feel that this will drive the chickens to start pecking and eating their own eggs. But I feel that once they're at that point where you do take and dry them out very well and crush them into like a small consistency and mix it in with their food, they're not going to be doing that. That's just my opinion. Maybe you want to check with somebody else that raises chickens and they may tell you differently. I don't know. Preserving eggs the old-fashioned way, water glassing them, is extremely easy. It's simple and it's very inexpensive. It also gives you a backup of eggs too when needed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell, share, and give me a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I really hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.